All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're mapping out a seriously terrifying sequence of events from a chilling folklore story titled Kohra, which literally translates to fog. This one was originally shared by the popular horror channel Kuni Monday, and we're going to break down the anatomy of this urban legend. We'll be looking at the exact timeline and the absolute psychological, or maybe even supernatural breakdown of a road trip gone horribly wrong.
So, what chilling secret actually hides in the fog? I mean, everyone knows about the biting, beautiful winters of Delhi, right? But with that cold comes this incredibly thick, suffocating blanket of fog. And the real question is, what happens when that fog brings something else with it? Something that fundamentally alters your grip on reality. Let's trace the steps of a vacation that spirals directly into a waking nightmare.
We kick off our chronological journey by setting the scene. Our main character, Yavin, and his friends are just completely fed up with the rising pollution in the city and they're craving an escape. So, they hire a cab for a quick 3-day getaway up to Himachal. They hit the road in the pitch black of 4 a.m., but honestly, spirits are super high. They're greeted by this remarkably cheerful driver, and right out of the gate, they form a friendly bond. It really feels like the perfect start to a trip.
Section 1. The mysterious winter fog. Let's see exactly how this lighthearted, cheerful environment takes a massive nosedive. 4 solid hours pass by. It's now 8 a.m., but the sky is still blanketed in total darkness. And suddenly, they hit a literal wall of dense winter fog. We're talking zero visibility, absolutely impenetrable fog. But the craziest part, what Yavin notices isn't just the crazy weather, it's the driver. The guy who was laughing and joking just a few minutes ago goes completely rigid. The color just entirely drains from his face. Yavin, trying to keep things calm, pats his shoulder and tells him not to worry, just to drive slowly.
Section 2. The Broken Rule. You know, every good piece of folklore has a core rule, and here is where we reach the absolute turning point of the whole story.
The crucial moment arrives with a panicked warning. The driver looks back, his voice shaking with terror, and begs them, "I have a request. Please keep the car windows closed. Do not open them even by mistake." It's such a hyper-specific, desperate plea. But, as you might guess, Yavin and his friends just laugh it off. To them, it's just some silly local superstition.
To really understand why this driver is so petrified, we have to talk about the concept of the chalawa. A chalawa is essentially an illusion, a massive supernatural trick of the mind. The driver explains that out here, fog is actually pretty rare, but when it does roll in, it brings a chalawa with it, this dark entity that just weaves a complex web of lies. Naturally, these modern city-dwelling friends completely dismiss it as a rural myth, and literally right as they dismiss it, the car is swallowed whole by the fog. Inside that fog, the atmosphere shifts in an instant. The air just feels infinitely heavier. One of the friends, Ria, suddenly starts panicking. She's hit with this overwhelming sense of claustrophobia, a suffocating feeling like she literally can't catch her breath. Desperate for air, and completely forgetting the driver's terrified warning, she reaches over and rolls down her window to stick her head out. She gets her breath of fresh air, sure, but she also lets the fog straight into the cabin. The one golden rule of the folklore has officially been broken.
Section 3. The Dark Hallucinations. The exact second that outside air hits the interior of the car, the psychological and potentially supernatural chaos truly begins.
Check out the horrific duality taking effect here. In Ria's mind, she's looking around and realizing everyone, Yavin, Ravi, the driver, they've all vanished into thin air. She's entirely alone in a moving car, the doors are jammed shut, and she's screaming for help until the car finally stops and the doors mysteriously unlock. But in actual reality, Ria never saw an empty car. The moment she opened that window, she passed out cold in the back seat. Her friends are desperately trying to shake her awake, and the driver is just having an absolute full-blown meltdown.
Let's stick with Ria's hallucination for a second. Believing she's stranded alone, she bolts from the empty car, begging for anyone to help her. She spots a figure in the mist and runs toward it, but the distance just never closes. It's like a classic terrifying nightmare trope. Suddenly, she feels a presence right behind her. She spins around and comes face to face with a terrifying entity, a massive 12-foot-tall dark shadow. And this shadow violently shoves her straight to the ground.
Meanwhile, back in the very real, very chaotic car, things are rapidly devolving. Ria is totally unresponsive from whatever she's experiencing in her mind. The driver is completely useless at this point, just frozen in this loop of panicked regret, muttering over and over, "Shouldn't have opened the car window, shouldn't have opened the car window." Yavin, who is incredibly angry and trying to stay rational, assumes the driver is just laying superstition over a serious medical emergency. He screams at the guy to speed up so they can get Rhea to a hospital immediately. Section 4. The final crash. That desperate demand for speed, driven by pure panic and frustration, leads us right into the devastating climax of the story.
Notice how the Chalawa completely shifts its target here, zooming in on Yavin. First, a girl suddenly appears in the headlights, and they hit her hard. Yavin jumps out to check on the victim, turns her bloody body over, and his heart absolutely stops. It's Renya. His friend, who was just unconscious in the back seat, is now lying dead on the road. He spins around to look back at the car, and just like Renya's earlier hallucination, the vehicle is completely empty. The driver and his other friend are gone. Driven entirely mad by panic and confusion, Yavin scoops up Renya's body, throws her in the car, jumps into the driver's seat, and just floors the gas pedal blindly into the fog.
So now Yavin is speeding blindly through this zero-visibility fog, his reality completely fractured. And that is when the ultimate manifestation of the Chalawa steps in. Right in front of the speeding car, that massive 12-foot dark shadow appears out of nowhere. Yavin yanks the steering wheel, completely loses control of the vehicle, and violently smashes into a tree by the side of the road. Then, everything just goes black.
Section 5. The Morning Truth. When the sun finally comes up and the supernatural fog clears away, we are left to examine the incredibly sobering aftermath.
The final aftermath reveals a pretty terrifying resolution. On one hand, there's a physical miracle. All 4 of them are actually found alive in the crashed car the next morning. They survived the physical impact. But the permanent psychological scars? That's a different story. Yavin suffered a severe head injury in the crash and completely lost his mental balance. His grasp on reality is just gone. And Rhea is left deeply traumatized, plagued by chronic hallucinations where she constantly sees that 12-foot dark shadow lurking around her. It seems the Chalawa never really left them.
As we wrap up this explainer, we definitely have to include the final notes relayed by the original creators of the story, Kuni Monday. Their ultimate takeaway? Never, ever open your window in the dense fog. But what's kind of wild is how they pair this chilling folklore warning with some stark channel analytics. They point out that 80% of the people who enjoy these terrifying tales still haven't subscribed to their channel, and they urge you to hit that button. It's definitely a fascinating pivot from supernatural dread straight to creator metrics.
But let's bring it back to the core mystery for a second. Think about how you process all this. Was this whole ordeal, the hallucinations, the missing friends, the body on the road, was it simply the result of severe claustrophobia, a medical emergency, and a tragically panicked driver making a terrible, terrible mistake? Or is the folklore real? Does the Chalawa truly wait out there, hiding in that zero-visibility winter fog, just waiting for someone foolish enough to roll down their window? It's a pretty haunting thought to ponder the next time you find yourself driving through a dense, quiet winter morning.